I've heard more people tell me these days, get everything you can out of a record label because you're never going to see anything again. And, you know, in a way it's true, in a way it's not. I mean, if you become, you know, go out and sell 5 million units, you're going to make a lot of money off your deal. But it is true that you can make a ton of money on tour. And you're merchandising, and a lot of acts, and everyone, they're making a lot of money. If you're not a writer, you know, if you're a writer, you know, there's two forms to making a CD or a record. There's two forms to it. The person that performs it and the person that writes it. So like in the case of the Beatles, for the most part, they wrote and performed their own stuff. So your publishing deal is for those who wrote it. And your record royalties are for those who performed it on the record. So maybe you and I could have written, you know, you and I could go out and form our band right now, and we could form a band and we could do Let It Be by the Beatles. We'll get the money for the record sales, but Paul McCartney will get the money for writing it. So there's two forms, you know, two forms to that, and how those do. I forgot I got off on a tangent on that, but I wanted to explain the two parts to it. So a lot of times you can make money on your publishing as well. You might write a hit record that is a flop for your own group, but it goes on to become a #1 record for someone else. So you're still going to get a lot of money doing that. There's so many income streams involved in being a music artist. You know, you have your performance for your record royalties. You have your publishing for if you wrote the song. You have your merchandising. You have your touring. And you have the licensing of those songs into film, television, and commercials. It can be very lucrative. You know, most artists these days get caught in that big trap. And that trap is, okay, we think you're great, you know, your band, The Four Chairs. We think they're the greatest thing we've seen. We will give you $500,000 to sign, you know, to sign your band. All right? We're then going to put, you know, we're going to give you another $150,000 in tour support. Then we're going to give you this advance. Then we're going to give you that advance. Then we're going to put money into here. Well, you have to pay the record label back. They just don't give you that money and you've won the lottery. Out of that $500,000, you're going to probably make your record for $150,000. Then you're going to go out on the road, so you're going to take another $150,000 in tour support. Then you have living expenses out of that. Gee, pretty soon, you're what we call unrecouped. That's when you have to pay what they gave you back. Comes time to pay the piper. So you go out and have a big fat gold record. Wow, we're hot. We've got a gold record. Gee, that gold record, you're still owe the record company money after that record. Because let's say, I'm just using some round terms here, let's just say you're only getting $1.50 an album back and you sold 500,000 records, you could still be unrecouped. Now the label says, well, we think either they're going to drop you and say, get out of here, or they're going to say, gee, we think you're great, let's do another record. Now you're getting another $600,000-$700,000 that you're going to owe the record label back. You can be $1 million unrecouped to your record label, have a platinum album, and still not have any money out of your record label. Now again, I'm using very loose terms and I'm using loose numbers, and it doesn't always happen that way, but more often than not, it does happen that way. Or you get a whole bunch of money from a record label as an advance, and you go out and sell 75,000 units and the label says you're out of here and your career is washed up. There's a real balance of how you spend that money. And where it comes from. But you can be a mediocre success. You can go out and have a gold album, and you can go out on the road for $7,500 a night, and you can play 3 nights a week. And so that's, what is that, 70, it's 15, that's 20, let's call it 22,000 a week. And you can play 50 dates. So I can't do the math, but 50 times 22,000 is a lot of money. So there are ways to go out there and make money happen. You have to be very shrewd about your money.